Hello everybody, this is WarStory video vlog. I'm Alex and here is Thomas Wittmann.
No one really knew the value. How many people even knew who Hermann Göring was? A $2 million Dagger, a trinket, and nobody bought it. Boy, if you had any sense, what you could have done then. Car that I bought in 1967. Hey, wait a minute, this is real history.
But once again, it was 70s. Hello Thomas.
Yeah, hello Alex.
We're just trying to pretend we didn't see each other and I just accidentally showed up.
Hey, is that Alex?
So here is Thomas Wittmann and we are at the Thomas Wittmann's place.
All right, a little bit of this top shelf Imperial. Just a little bit.
A lot of customers, Alex?
Oh yeah, he's got customers all over the world.
Oh, good.
It'd be a shame to have to do one of these videos sober, you know, and we'll give it a little stir.
Here, Tom, before you start.
I have to get a new bottle for Marie. She somehow drank the last one.
Oh my, to the brim.
I can't understand how, but she did. Let's see what we can do here. These wine bottles with the so-called twist-off cap, you can't twist them off unless you have a pair of pliers. And oh, there it goes. How about a half a glass this time? That might be enough, I think. There you go, hun.
So I want to ask you about the Dagger. We used to talk last interview.
Diamonds and emeralds. Everybody was there with their mouth open, shining in the light, worth a couple of $1 million, like an explosion. I'll take the fucking thing.
That was a very interesting Dagger from Hermann Göring. After the video, someone showed me a picture from the Russian collection, and is it this particular Dagger we used to talk about?
The Dagger is very easily recognizable because it was made by Göring's personal jeweler, a company named Zeitner from Berlin, and the fittings are distinct with that producer. And when I saw that picture, I know that is exactly the same Dagger. I wonder where it is today, though. I know it's in a Russian collection, but that's all I know.
I've got this picture from one of my subscribers, and he told this is from Russian collection, so definitely you were right.
Yeah.
If you know the story of the Dagger, could you share it with us?
Well, I know most of the story. The Dagger originally surfaced in Texas. There's a couple of dealers there that one of them is gone, but the other one is still around. And they not only acquired the Dagger, but they acquired a Göring car pennant. There were a couple of Göring awards also that were brought home by a local veteran there in Texas, and they were able to secure this. And I remember seeing the Dagger. This is probably in the late 70s, the early 80s. It was in some beat up old case. It looked like it had been, this was about its 400th show, maybe, that showcase. Oh, wow. And there it was in there. I felt that it was an extraordinary piece, but at that time, you know, I was into buying Daggers for $200. That was about all I could afford.
But once again, it was 70s.
In the 70s, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
so it's that old.
But apparently no one bought the Dagger. I think at the time they wanted some incredible amount of money, like $8,000 or something, which was in the 70s was a huge amount of money.
But mostly because of the stones and like...
Yeah. Well, you got to remember too, collectors, that no one really knew the value of anything back then. I guess the wow appeal was what set the price, but it's like I remember seeing the Damascus Dagger that was given to Himmler. That was in a show in the early 80s, and that Dagger today is probably worth $500,000, $750,000. It was for sale in the show for $5,000, and nobody bought it. But anyhow, with the Göring piece, what these guys did, nobody bought it, so they consigned it to the famous Ray Zyla auction house in upper state New York. Ray called his business Mohawk Arms. Probably a lot of people know that name. And he sold the Dagger at auction there. And I'm not sure what it brought, but it was in the $8,000 or $10,000 era. And then it went to a couple of different collectors after that. until the time, well, which I spoke about in the last interview, when Dr. Distelhorst bought it. And he had it for many, many years. He was forced to sell it because of a divorce that went on for 12 years, and the judge ordered that the Dagger be sold. And the wife called me and asked me if I could sell it, and that's maybe $250,000. She went crazy. She said, "My husband told me the Dagger was worth $10,000. You have to watch the interview on all that. But here's a Dagger that's today is probably worth a couple $1 million.
Oh, that's true.
And it was given to Göring by Erich von Katzow. Göring was married, his first marriage, and von Katzow was his brother-in-law. And apparently they maintained a good relationship even after Karen, his sister Göring's bride, died in 1931. And he gave the Dagger to Göring as a birthday gift. I think it was 1936. So it's just quite a thing. And what else do you want to know about it, Alex?
The first question, how did they manage to find it? In veteran's house or?
I don't know that story. These two Texas guys were tremendous with finding veteran things. They found the first haul of A.H. silverware. There were 3 hauls of that. There were 100 pieces in each haul. When I say haul, I'm talking about the load. And the way it was done when the silverware was found, the veterans, they were all part of a engineers group that were first in the Berghof. And they were there because they were in charge of looking for mines and things like that before the regular troops came in. And they found this 300 pieces of A.H. silverware and split it up.
Uh-huh.
And these 2 Texans found that first hoard. The second hoard was bought by Bill Shea from the other veteran in the late 90s, I think it was. And I bought the last hoard about 8 or 9 years ago, which I had the pleasure of keeping a couple of pieces for myself. But,
oh, wow, you got lucky.
Yeah. But these 2 guys were really, really great at turning up veteran things. They advertised in the paper and all that stuff, and one lead leads to another and that kind of thing. Obviously, they never really knew the true value of these things back in those days. We're talking about the late 70s and early 80s. But that's how that beautiful $2 million Dagger turned up, just like a trinket. I mean, just seeing it in that case that I described, all beat up, and you could hardly see through the lid, and it just, and there's these diamonds and emeralds and ivory and all that. Just amazing those days. Boy, if you had any sense and had any money, what you could have done then. But of course, nobody knew. Nobody knew what anything was. Nobody knew what anything was worth. So that's how the Dagger came out to the collecting community.
That's such a cool story, because I can imagine how that feels if you find something like that. But nowadays we cannot find something from veterans or from somebody like for cheap, because now with the internet, with everything, everybody has like information. Everybody can just Google everything, and also. Like you wrote a book about...
Jack is knocking all the booze bottles down here.
He was waiting for his toy.
That's your toy, Jack.
He finally got it. No, he lost his interest for it. But I think it's great opportunity to find something interesting if you share information and if you show what is really rare, and people can contact you, contact me, and just ask and show something and share the information where like real treasure could... be hidden.
You know, with something like that, let's say that you just stumble into, let's say it's the Göring Dagger you stumbled into. If you can imagine, we have so many photographs and books today. There are several pictures of Hermann actually wearing that beautiful thing. And if you had the pictures to go with it, then you start to think, oh, well, you know.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
In those days, it was pretty hard to comprehend even what you had, you know, because how many people even knew who Hermann Göring was in 1979, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We were just starting to study history then, you know. The war was over, and most of us, if you're old enough like I am, all you knew about the war was what all the people that came over to your house and talked about it, which they did for...
And your uncle who brought back that first army dagger.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The events happened, of course, but it took a while before people thought, hey, wait a minute, this is real history.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because it was something you were just hearing about from your relatives. Every Saturday night they'd come over to play cards with my father, and I'd have to listen to all this stuff, you know. And so it was kind of hard to grasp that these things could be of the value that they are today.
And German daggers field is very interesting for me because of it's like a closed and finished system. Like a German car, like a Porsche, like BMWs and all that stuff. Because
it's the same kind of thing with cars.
Yes, because we don't support any Nazi ideas and any that kind
the
of
ideology is
stuff.
not.
Yes,
nobody.
It's not about ideologies.
It's about the beauty of what they made, the workmanship,
like workmanship, correct.
The eye appeal, and people have to remember too with these things. The whole thing was eye appeal because they wanted to recruit people.
Yeah, it was a propaganda thing, and it's better to know how did they manage it. And also they created this system with like recruits, with officers, with enlisted men, and with everything. And you can learn the history of that period just by the daggers. That because
very much so, yeah. And then you have to think, let's just say an SS dagger as an example. SS daggers were given to everybody that graduated from the courses and so forth, and it was a once-a-year presentation. And you got this black uniform that was just fantastic looking, the tailoring and so forth. And then you have this dagger and you're walking down the street. What 16-year-old wouldn't want to look like that and to have that great dagger? And it just, you talk about ingenious advertising. I think that the Germans were absolute experts at that. And the thing with it too is that the same feeling comes to us when we see these beautiful things, and that's why we like them. They're designed to give you that wow factor, and boy, I'd like to have that. Who wouldn't, you know? And not a good time, but it was a remarkable thing.
That's true. And I also want to say that not just the Third Reich period items are like beautiful. If we just look at the Navy daggers, like a Kaiserlich Marine period, that's awesome items with like all ivory, with all gilding.
And then you have to think too that there was no official German Navy until 1848, when the Prussians established the so-called German Navy, and they established it with a dagger, and the dagger that was worn from 1848 through 1945 almost looked the same.
Exactly.
They just changed the pommel as the regimes changed, or made them more decorative. And the nice part about it was that anyone in the Navy could get any dagger they wanted as long as they could afford it.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I've had people say, you know, you get a dagger with these blue panels and damask blade and ivory grip, and they'll say, "Oh, this had to be a general's dagger or an admiral." You know, not really.
Yeah, it could be just like
could have been a Lieutenant Zerzy that had a very rich father.
Oh yeah.
Or he was an aristocrat or so forth. So you could buy what you liked, and
I'm glad they really had taste that time and opportunity to buy like items with a pure, like beautiful.
And the fact that they had the people that could do the workmanship too was incredible.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
They really had the craftsmen. There's really very few daggers in the Third Reich per se that we can compare in quality to what was made in 1900. I mean, the quality is just absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I wonder even how they did it. It seems like 8 out of 10 Imperial daggers will have Damask blades. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
during the Third Reich, they only had 3 or 4 Damask makers, but during the Imperial period, there were a lot of them, and therefore they were able to produce these at a somewhat reasonable price. That's why you look at them today and wow, I like that. How much is it? $8,000. Well, look at the blade. Okay, here's your money.
Give me 2. And in the end of the interview, we mentioned the car theme, and I shared with Thomas Wittmann that I just bought my first Porsche 911. And first of all, I had really bad experience with it because I bought it at the auto auction here in Mannheim, in Pennsylvania, but that was a super cheap one. It was a Porsche 911 for 11 grand, for $11,000. And I know something about cars, and I saw the price. I just bought it. I didn't like.
The problem with something like that is it costs another $11,000 just to get it running and to get it back to somewhat
exactly.
normal.
Yes, exactly. And I was in how to say it, like it's a parking lot, and everything was okay, but I know the stuff, so I started.
Yeah.
I waited like half an hour to make it like warm.
Yeah.
I ride.
Warm it up.
Yes, exactly. And then check engine popped up. Check engine lamp popped up, and there was a.
Oh, there's $3,000 there when the check engine light comes on.
Yes, exactly. Especially in the Porsche 911, it was like ugliest, almost ugliest Porsche 911 for whole history because it was a 2003. But now I bought another one, 1999. Porsche 11, that one is ugliest. With ugly, in United States, people call it fried egg, as I remember.
Yeah.
So that one I bought, I want to restore it, sell it, and with this particular budget, buy another one. So it's kind of like step by step, I want to reach
Well, that's the way to
one.
do it because you learn a lot too with it. So,
Yeah.
eventually you learn enough that you maybe spend enough money. But,
So yeah, we will see. I'm gonna do some kind of the show. But after I showed it for my Russian-speaking audience, I was surprised that Dagger collectors are really auto enthusiasts. You know what I mean?
well, they are, yeah.
And when I told it to Thomas Wittmann, he also showed me his cars. He also cars collector. Could you tell me what do you have?
Just the way it is. I think if you collect daggers, you're going to like old cars too. It's part of the nature of the beast, I think.
Yeah.
And usually they're a good investment if you hold them long enough. But I've shown in my videos before, I have a 1961 Corvette
Mine.
for Marie. She keeps speaking up, it's mine, so I'm not going to dispute that. The divorce is too much to handle. Yeah, Jack. What do you want, Jack? Huh?
Jack Wittmann.
Are you in a
Jack-
divorce?
No.
All right. That's good.
Not today. The Corvette I have here, you can see it.
Oh wow, that's nice.
When I bought it, it needed a paint job. We had that done. It's all done in lacquer. And now, after almost 40 years, the lacquer's starting to cracks. Yeah, it cracks. Probably needs another paint job. But it's the last year that they made the famous 283 engine. And it has what they call solid lifters and twin 4-barrel carburetors and 4-speed transmission and positive traction rear and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of fun to drive. In its day, it was probably the fastest car that you could ever drive. But I think today, Alex's Porsche would probably go right past it. I don't know.
It's still just on the driveway. I cannot try.
Okay, all right, yeah, all right. And then in addition to my Corvette, I have a 1963 Cadillac convertible. I bought the Cadillac in 1967, and this is true. I bought it from a Pennsylvania school teacher. She really was a school teacher. and she took all the ashtrays out of it and threw them away because she didn't approve of smoking. So when I first got the car, I figured, how the heck am I going to get these ashtrays? And I used to deal with a car wash that was down the street from me, a good friend of mine. He said, don't worry. He said, come by once a month and I'll have an ashtray for you. And before you know it, you'll have all 4 of them. And that was true. I got all 4 ashtrays with that. I drove the car into the 70s, and then I wanted to get another Cadillac convertible. I always bought used ones. Like my father would always say, let somebody else pay for the depreciation.
That's
pick
smart.
it up 2 or 3 years later and you still got, they've already paid for everything that's wrong with it. And so I wanted to get another car, and I thought, well, I'll trade in the 63. So I said, well, what do you give me for it? He said, $500. And I thought, oh my, for this beautiful car, $500, I'm going to keep it. So here I am all these years later. I still have that car that I bought in 1967.
That's so cool.
It is cool. It wasn't easy all those years to store it and move it around and all that kind of thing, but I did it, and now it needs a paint job. But the car is completely original. Nothing's ever been replaced. It was never in an accident. So I think it's a good car to put some more money in and get it really.
But how much did they quote you for the paint job?
The paint job, they want $25,000.
$25,000, guys.
Well, that's with the original paint color, and then they put that clear coat on top of it and all. So, I mean, I haven't shopped it around, but that's what they say it
But
costs.
guys, probably you can correct me, but like in New Jersey, there is a like big Russian-speaking community and Polish community who can make like a paint job and everything like much cheaper, but they did really well. You know why? Because in Soviet Union, you cannot buy like car parts. You usually have to repair it. If you have bent like fader, you gotta repair it.
You got to repair it yourself. There's no replacement fender.
Yes, yes. So that is why, like Eastern European guys, they are the best. Like a Polish guys, like Russian, Belarus, Ukrainian guys who can do body work. They're the best and the cheapest guys for do that work. Because like 25,000 for paint the car is like too much, I guess. So thank you for sharing your auto experience, and guys, let's ask Thomas in comment section to show us those 2 cars, and probably we can, I don't know about taking a ride, but see it in person, and if you guys interested in.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, and also thank you for like sharing those like warm feelings, and thank you for that mood that you can share, and thank you for your inspiration, you know, because all those books you did, all that stuff you did for community, for collection community, that's so cool. That's like I started this channel, like Russian speaking channel, and after that this channel, and now I have like more than 100,000 subscribers on both of them. I started because I saw your videos. This is like only way I got inspired. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so thank you, and
you're most welcome.
yeah, thank you guys for watching this video until the end. I hope you like it, and we are waiting for you in comment section. Ask comments, and next time I'll be there, I will ask Thomas new questions from you. So have a good one, and see you real soon.